I'm a reality engineer. I help people understand and master physical reality. I take the woo-woo spiritual stuff and I make it very practical, very logical, and I even back it up with science, with physics. So one of the main principles that really proves that manifestation is real and this spiritual stuff is real is if you look at some physics. So let's look at Newton's third law of motion. What he says that for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So this goes to the universal law, which is what you put out is what you get back. So going back to the third law, if you exert force onto the ground, that force is going to push you back. It's called a push up. So whatever frequency that you're embodying, whatever vibration you're embodying, and a simple way to understand what your vibration is simply means what are your dominant thoughts, emotions, beliefs. That's essentially what encompasses your vibration. And another word for your vibration is what frequency you're at. So for example, like with a radio, whatever you tune the dial to, that's the frequency that you're going to get. That's the channel that you're going to get. The same thing with your own vibration. If you always and continuously embody low vibration emotions like fear, anger, it could be guilt, it could be shame, it could be any of these, right? You are going to attract circumstances within your physical reality that reflects back to you your state of being. So if you want to become a conscious creator, simply put, like very, very simply put, you just need to be joyful regardless of what's happening within your physical reality. Once you get to that point, then now you have mastered physical reality and you will start to attract circumstances within your physical reality that reflect back to you your new preferred state of being. Because a lot of people are trying to control the outside, their physical reality. But in reality, in actuality, there is no such thing as the outside. Like all this, there is no such thing as the outside. It is all an illusion, okay? Because everything is always happening from you. You are the only person within your own reality. You are the only person within your universe. So every person that you see is just your version of them within your reality. Everything and everyone is simply a reflection of you. So once you really understand this, that's why I have this tatted on my chest. The one is all, the all is one. Once you really understand this, then you can be like, okay, I get to choose how I feel about certain things. I get to choose how I look at this circumstance, because every circumstance, every situation is actually fundamentally neutral, okay? As Bashar puts it, it is simply a set of props. I really love that way of describing it because that really takes the meaning out of anything that you're putting a meaning into that may be negative. For example, let's just give a situation where you're in a relationship and your girlfriend cheats on you. A lot of people would interpret it as this is an inherently negative situation, right? Most people would agree on that. But if you look at it from the perspective of the way I'm coming about it from like a reality engineering point of view, it's simply a set of props. And you're deciding to make that set of props mean something negative, and since that's the meaning that you put into that neutral circumstance, you get a negative effect out of that neutral circumstance. The circumstance or situation within itself is actually doesn't mean anything, unless of course you give it the meaning. And a lot of people, they're unaware of this because they unconsciously and so fast they give a negative meaning to a neutral circumstance, and that's why they experience a negative effect from that circumstance. So you have to learn how to become a conscious creator and notice that if something triggers you, puts you into a negative state, that is a sign right there. You need to catch yourself because you're about to go into your unconscious programming, react in a certain type of way, and then manifest a worse situation than what could have been, because you're taking that neutral circumstance, feeling negativity from it, and then you're taking action from that negativity, and obviously you're going to create a negative experience. So my job, essentially, as I said, is just to help you understand how reality actually works and get you to a point to where you can actually master physical reality. And as I've said, very simply put, the way you master physical reality is just by getting to a point where you feel bliss, you feel joy, you feel happy, you feel good, regardless of what's happening within this illusion that we call physical reality. Now, I know that might sound very woo-woo that I call this physical reality an illusion, but it is simply a projection of your own consciousness. Okay? Everything is consciousness, all right? So we're simply in this kind of first-person POV video game, right? It feels very real, and trust me, it is real, but at the same time, it's kind of not, right? So you have the power to perceive things the way that you want to perceive them, so that you get the effects that you want to get out of those situations. For example, a decision that I have is that I'm always going to choose self-empowerment over anything. I'm always going to choose to feel good. I'm always going to choose that I have the ability to take something that I might interpret as negative, and I have the ability to actually see that as something that's going to serve me in a positive way. And since that's my decision, that is the reality that I will experience if I truly stick to that and I truly trust that choice. Because we all have a choice. We always have a choice, right? Because truly, we are extensions of source energy. Source energy is the energy that creates everything within existence. It's the energy that creates worlds. You are an extension of source energy. So knowing this should make you feel very, very powerful. Like, you are the creator of your own reality. And my whole job is to get you to realize this, because I just know there's so many people out there that want to be self-empowered. They don't want to be victims anymore. They want to actually take their power back and learn how to consciously create the reality from a place of power, rather than feeling disempowered and feeling like things just happen to them and they have no control over how they feel or over what happens within their physical reality. So if you're interested in this type of stuff, be sure to give me a follow on Instagram, because I post on there daily. Every single day you're gonna see me posting either to my story or as a reel. So as I said, if you're interested, just hit me up on Instagram, give me a follow. And if you don't have Instagram, just email me at ariesthecoach@gmail.com, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I'll see you in the next video.